All right, welcome back to the channel. Whoa, big package, and it is a big knife inside of it. When I saw that this started happening, a new version of the Demco Custom with this new material that you're going to see when I unbox this, I believe, hopefully it all works out. There's actually a knife in here, and I didn't just send my money out into the ether. I kind of knew I needed to get my hands on one. I just didn't think I'd get my hands on one this fast. But a ton of knives came out of this Nashville show that recently happened, and this is an exciting one. If I can ever get to it. There's a lot of packaging here. All right, there we go. Box, inside a box, inside a bag, inside a box. And I've been noticing that the material Ultem has been really coming onto the scene in some interesting ways. I think it's maybe a little polarizing, but I think when it's done right, there's some really compelling things. So I picked up two knives in Ultem, and what I thought would be interesting to really get to understand the material would be getting it in two knives that I know the form factor pretty darn well. What the heck? That is awesome. So that is a magnet. If I'm seeing it correctly, I think it's a magnet. Let me find something. Yeah, that's a magnet. Cool. That's awesome. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put that, but it's gonna go somewhere. So of course, one of them had to be a Demco, and Demco is not doing anything in production with Ultem, which meant I was gonna pay the piper, and I did. This is something that is super exciting, but also very much on the spendy side to try and get your hands on right now. But the seller made it happen, and I'm excited to have it. Wow. Oh my God, it's so much lighter. That's crazy. And like, granted, there is tie in the liner. First of all, that looks, I don't know, I wish I had opened this actually during the day. I'm gonna have to do another video during the day because I have a feeling you can't see that as well on the camera. But there's some like really interesting like light refraction happening. That is so crazy. Like, I have a few of these customs. I have a feeling that this weighs like an ounce less. Oh my God, that blade shape is insane. And of course, these customs right now are all coming out in CPM Magnacut, which is just nuts. This knife is nuts. Look at the crazy blue anodized hardware. I gotta get more light over here. This knife deserves a lot of light. Let me make some quick moves in the room. Let's see if I can get the lamp a little closer, because this is this is really something. So let's okay, maybe you can, I don't know if you can still see it, but it's also in the 20s outside right now, so it's got a little condensation going on it. One of the things the seller did disclose is that some of the grease from in here did get into the scales, so I'm gonna take it down and get in there and clean that up. So that's kind of disappointing. Obviously, when you have a see-through material, that would be a problem. But generally, this is just, and I guess this is also a one-off blade. They have some things they do consistently on the customs, even though quote-unquote custom. And this particular blade shape is a one-off. It's like a, I don't know what you call it. It's cool though. I mean, I have another one in Tanto, and it's quite different. Let me see if I can grab that one really quickly. You can see this is the Stinger Tanto. That is nuts. I mean, this one's even in carbon, so it's pretty light, but I'm pretty sure that's like even lighter. It's actually to the point of like, it's still well balanced, which is good. That is sweet. And since they took off that, you know, when you do this peanut, you kind of save some weight on the blade. You don't have the thumb stud, and you're taking out more metal. So it's quite a light blade material. Sweet action. Rolls out really nicely. Super cool. So I can wipe this off real quick and get a little better look at that blade. Hang on. Get this guy out of here so we can get some focus. That's pretty wild. That is a pretty wild shape. And it's kind of hard to see in the video. I'm gonna do another video on this with sunlight, but it is quite the effect of having the tie liner behind the Ultem, and you really see like a change of kind of color as you move it around, which is really neat. Feels really nice in hand. They kind of mill out the get this stuff out of here and get some little bit better focus. They mill out the and put some texture into the Ultem there. That's really nice. I think now we're getting a little better lighting going on. That is sweet how they have that all carved out into the tie liner. Oh my God, the details on this is pretty sick. And then you got the best locking mechanism in the world. There's just like no doubt in my mind at this point. I mean, I teach their own, but you look at like every element of the lock and it's very hard to argue, I think. Let's see if I can bring out like a heavy custom to compare weight on. The heaviest Demco I have is the full tie weight 80-20, and it is like 7.7 ounces. This one I think is like 7.3 ounces here. The tie drop clip, I'll call it. I don't know what the actual blade shape is on this one, but this thing's like maybe 7.25 or 7.35 ounces. So I'm really curious what this Ultem is going to tip the scale at. So let's fold everyone up here and get them on the scale. All right, big boy first, air, so it's over 7 ounces because this scale's 7 ounces or less. 6.35 on the fat carbon. And this also has a very similar liner in it. Now they don't have the texturing or like the carve outs on the liner on this one like they do on this one. That makes it just pretty wild. But some other similarities, I think it's the same pocket clip, tie pocket clip. All right, so if that's 6.35, what's your guess on this one? I'm gonna go 6 flat. Holy crap. It's 5.48. 6.3, it's almost an ounce less. Now granted, I realize that this thumb stud, you know, and this smaller hole is a factor, but that is shocking to me. 5.48 ounces. I saw a post actually in the Facebook Demco group, and it said, Ultem is just plastic, convince me otherwise. Or just expensive plastic, convince me otherwise. Well, I think I just convinced myself otherwise. That is amazing. 5.48. Now, so I mean, there's a little material taken out of the tie liner, right? But it's probably the same hardware here, same hardware here. You get a little bit of difference in the blade for sure. But say this is a 1/4 ounce, you're still talking about saving over 1/2 ounce on the Ultem versus fat versus carbon. I mean, carbon's super light material. That is shocking. So the other one I have coming is the tactile Bayer, B-E-X-A-R, if you're not familiar with the model. And it takes that model down from 1.8 ounces in the tie version to 1 ounce, which is just amazing. But this is really surprising to me. I just like keep doing it because I'm like, did I screw something up? How did I mess up this science experiment? But that's 5.48 ounces. I mean, that makes a Demco Custom Magnacut like a near carry worthy knife for me. Maybe I need to track one down with a shark's foot and make this my daily driver. That's nuts. To me, the Tanto is super cool, but I don't really use my knife for like a self-defense type use case, so it's not as interesting from like a day-to-day as a you know, a good shark's foot is just my favorite blade for the day-to-day use. Wow, well, that's really cool. Let's see if I can get the whole, I'm gonna get the whole custom collection out right now for this one. I think there's just, where's the other one? Oh, I think it's in one of these regular boxes because it's like one of the originals. What is this one? What did this one weigh in? I gotta double check that. But there's a day glow. Like that to me would be more of like a daily driver. That could be really good. But you can just feel the weight. This G10, how is that so much lighter? Hang on one sec. Let's do one more weigh in here. And we'll bring out the party. All right. Let's see what this comes in at. So 6 ounces, just straight up slabs of G10, which is also super light. If you're not familiar, this is like a hybrid plastic, you know, like fiberglass is in it. G10 is pretty light material. It's not as light as, you know, Grivory, but 6.01. Take off a quarter for maybe the thumb stud and knife blade difference, and you're still like saving, with titanium liners, you're still saving like at least a 1/4 ounce versus like basically plastic. I mean, that's amazing that with tie liners, whew, that is so cool. Wow. Can't see I saw that coming. So let's get out the group here. What Demco is doing with custom knives right now is, I mean, I haven't really seen anything that's like this. There are definitely amazing custom knives all over the place. But to me, and these, let me put this in order from top to bottom of when they came out. So this was like a Blade Show 2021, I think, knife. This one was either 21 or 22, but it is a Blade Show sold knife also. These two came from Nashville. I'm just gonna put them in the order that I got them, but these just came out here in November of 2022. You can see some of the changes. Demco's, you know, doing some pretty exciting stuff lately. They were already doing some pretty creative stuff with this one for sure. Man, it's getting pretty wild, right? Look at that crazy. I really, really wish I had some sunlight to show you this. That is just a crazy, crazy look on it. So yeah, that's a sick, and like how this kind of raises up and stuff. So that's a definitely, I've talked about it a few times, that there's like different jimping they do on different knives and stuff. I have this one M390 carbon fiber 8020 that has, 8020S rather, that has a completely different jimping. This is a completely different jimping again. Never seen that before. It's similar to this one, but a little different. I guess it's pretty similar. That's pretty similar. That's a pretty similar format to that one. But these two are, again, both different from that. Ah, that's a cool one. So, I mean, if you know your stuff, you know this is almost $10,000, like table value, like buying it at the show, getting a what you call a good deal, $2,000 a piece. This is like $8,000 worth of table knives. And if you buy them on secondary market, you're usually paying about $3 grand times 4 is like 12 grand worth of knife. And I got them for somewhere in between those two. So pretty crazy. I have not yet gotten one for table price, but close to it. Got that one for close to table price. Actually, you know what? The table price on this is probably less when the guy got it too. So I probably paid it way above table price, but these three were all like $2,000 table price. So I gotta say, I'm like pretty stoked on this little quartet here. I could see only keeping one of these two, or maybe one of these two. But I like the different grips. These two are a little similar on the blade shapes. They've got some like really crazy other blade shapes. This one's kind of like a mix of like, they've got some called like shark poon, and anyways, they all sorts of crazy stuff, but they're definitely different. So different enough. But I'll probably make a few of these available. This one would be very hard for me to part ways with. This is the first one I got. I could maybe see parting ways with that one. I do like having a shark's foot, but yeah, really, really amazing what they're doing with these custom knives. Are they worth the money? Eye of the beholder. You know, it depends how much, you know, I guess money you have and make, probably. For me, I'm not really looking at it like it's a spend. They're mostly investments. You figure you can get at least most of your money back out of them. Some people have certainly taken some losses here and there, or made some pretty good gains here and there, depending on how you bought them. But see how it all plays out. I've definitely got a lot of 8020S and 8020 that I'll be selling off at the end of this. So I got a big Demco, everything they do kind of video coming, and trying to give just some knowledge out to the market. I found it very confusing a few months back when I started really getting into Demcos. So I sort of went on a mission to gather a bunch, get a lot of notes on them, and hopefully be able to share out just some of those learnings with the community. So yeah, super stoked to have this, and really, again, floored. When I got it in hand, I was like, holy smokes. And you know, 5.5 ounces is like a pretty heavy knife in general, but when you feel a knife this big at 5.5 ounces, it does not feel heavy. It feels really light and like svelte. I mean, that thing feels like it is super well balanced, and like, I mean, you can see like 2-finger twitch, right? You get something like this in your hand and you're like, okay, this thing is like a lot of metal with all the titanium and everything. It feels awesome, don't get me wrong. It's badass, but this thing like kind of says like, hey, you could put me in your pocket right now, right? I'm like, yeah, I could see that. That is crazy. So Ultem, it's pretty cool stuff. We'll see where it goes in the industry, but can't say I'm not impressed with that. That is a pretty cool knife. So I don't know what else to say about it. The action's good as usual. I'll work on getting it cleaned up. They're pretty darn easy to disassemble and reassemble once you know what you're doing. And excited to get this one in hand. Oh, that's super cool. Oh yeah, look at that. HG 2022. I never noticed that before. I've totally missed that. I've literally had this knife for like a week. So HG is hand ground, and then they have the date on there, 2022. Do they have that on the older ones? Look at that. So this is a 2022 Blade Show. The guy told me 2021, or maybe he said it was Blade Show 2022. But that makes a lot of sense. Like, I was looking at what's on this, and I didn't think they were doing stuff like that in 2021. So that makes a lot more sense. And then this one I don't think has that on there. I think that's something they started after that period of time. So you can see this one's even got, instead of, you know, basically all these say Magnacut, I think it's laser etched in there. This one is, you know, kind of hand etched in there, carved in there. Just looks so cool. So all for now, all for Ultem. And yeah, I'll try and maybe I'll just put out like a short with that in the sun, just because it deserves quite a bit of quite a bit of love. But that is a pretty wild one. So appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, comment if I missed something, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.